the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my old flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, flying solo today. Trey Holiday has the day off, so you know what? You're stuck with me, but we got a great show lined up here today. It's Thursday. You already know I'm real happy because it's Thursday already, right? But it's also Throwback Thursday, and today we're going to be taking a look at social clubs of the Central District. Stephanie Johnson-Tolliver with that. And our big thing we're talking about today is culturally relevant in life and culturally relevant in death and those facing death with dignity, man. And talking about hospice care in the Black community. We've got a social worker here, Nathan Yemane, and lots of letters, alphabet soup after his name, MSW, LICSW. He got a lot of them, but he's going to be in here talking about that. Real important. And also we got to check in again with Traveling While Black in Seattle as they go up to Woodinville. So a great show on tap for you today. Let's get it going, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. Want to remind you right now is the perfect opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners. over at KBCS 91.3 Bellevue College and also the South Seattle Emerald. Remind everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. We got a link for SoundCloud going in over there in the comments, but you can also go to Google, Spotify, iTunes, or 200 other platforms. All you have to do is search Converge Media Network. All right, time in the show here where we talk about hereforuswa.org. And man, I just got some news. Somebody else that I know just got COVID. It's still out there. It's still real. The death rate isn't as high, fortunately, but man, it is definitely still out there, and it's out there in our community. So that resource right there, hereforuswa.org, it's a lot of information there in regarding the vaccine, regarding booster shots, testing, but mostly for people who might be vaccine hesitant. Answers a lot of questions, concerns that you might have right there. So you definitely want to check that out. What do we got here? Well, we still have the request for information. This is from the Department of Education and Early Learning. Got an overlay over there and link going into the comments. They got $1 million in grants up to $75,000 for community-based organizations who are providing, educational tools and educational access to school-age children here in the city of Seattle, and that's through Deal. And we got that link in right over there. Also want to mention Swan Lake. We got some tickets to the Seattle Pacific Northwest Ballet to Swan Lake on Sunday. Swan Lake on Sunday at 7 p.m. If you're interested in going to see Swan Lake, then send Besa Gordon an email. That's Besa, BESA, at whereweconverge.com. And go out to the ballet, you know what I'm saying? Take some pictures, post up, whatever, but enjoy the show. And really looking for people who may have never been to the ballet before, or might have a young aspiring ballet dancer, or anybody interested in dance in your home. Send Besa an email, BESA at whereweconverge.com. So in other news, I'm glad I'm already downtown, and this is where I be. We got President Biden he's in town today. He's down in Portland first, and Biden is coming here later on today. Should be landing about 5:30 out of SeaTac. So, and that's going to impact traffic all over. And why I said I'm happy I'm already downtown is because I'm going to the Mariners game tonight with Kevin Schofield, actually, with the wordy and nerdy Kevin Schofield. We're going to go see the M's tonight. And, we were talking about traffic around the stadium because Biden's in town. I'm like, man, luckily for me, I'm within walking distance. But I'm curious to know your thoughts. How do you guys feel? The President of the United States is here visiting Seattle. As of now, they haven't unveiled any public events. It looks like it's mostly fundraisers, donors. He's supposed to do something around the environment, or maybe announce some legislation or something like that. But how do you feel? Does the president visiting here in Seattle, does it impact you, or does it make you inspired? Does it make you uninspired? What are your feelings about President Biden coming here to Seattle? And also, is there any impact in our community? Anybody feel any kind of way? Did anybody that or you personally get invited? Or are you going to any of these events that President Biden is attending? You know what I'm saying? Let your fingers do the talking, man. Let me know what's on your mind. How you feeling about this presidential visit? We'll get right into our Throwback Thursday right here. So as you know, our iconic interview wall right here with photos, majority of them from the Al Smith collection at Mohi, and also from the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. And when we put this wall together, we envisioned, when we put this wall together, we envisioned being able to tell different stories that are on the wall. And that vision has now come to a reality in our Throwback Thursday segments, where Stephanie Johnson Tolliver from the Black Heritage Society of Washington State tells us a few different stories on this wall. Today, she's talking about social clubs in the Central District.
Hello everyone, hello community. I am Stephanie Johnson Tolliver and I am president at the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. It's Thursday, it's my favorite day of the week. It's Throwback Thursday. The photo of the Royal Esquires, 1949, this is one of my favorite group photos. They're pictured at Collins Field on 14th Avenue and South Washington Street. The building was raised in 1975. Yeah, another one of those sad vanishing places. The Royal Esquires, established in 1947, and they were founded by 5 black men who were looking for a place that was welcoming and a place to socialize. You know, the Central District had a number of organizations that were all about socializing and creating and extending hobbies, creating entertainment, education, and give back to the community. The social clubs were at the forefront of the Black community. And this year, and this is fact, La Dame's Bridge Club, that was founded in 1947, 2022 marks the 75th year. They are still together. They exist today and play bridge at the Central Area Senior Center. Members of that group are, and we know them, Gertrude Peoples, Dorothy Hollingsworth, Mary Henry, Josephine Stokes. I'd say that these social groups contributed much to our community. And what you'll see in other photos here that we're sharing are from the Vogue group. It's on the mural wall. And then other images are of the Dramatic Club, the first AME Dramatic Club founded in 1915, the Prince Hall Masons, the Grand Master Russell Gideon, and this photograph from 1960, Club de Facto, and the first Tom Thumb Wedding, 1947, and the Men's Club at the YMCA, 1952, are just examples of the different clubs that were here and in the Seattle Central District. One of my favorites was the Self-Improvement Club. If these walls could talk, you heard it here.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie Johnson Tolliver, the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. Yeah, I mean, it's been like a real, literally a transformational experience. And we've got so many stories. And like she said, if these walls could talk, you heard it here, you know. Man, I love Thursdays. What we got coming up next? Okay, we're getting ready to go to a break right now. When we come back, there he is. Nathan Yemane is coming here, and we're talking about hospice and hospice care in the Black community. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
When COVID first hit, I was very afraid. There was so much things that I had to keep inside because I didn't know where to place my feelings. Most of my information for COVID is from my own research. I'm a doctor in educational leadership, and when the FDA approved Pfizer, it helped me realize that the vaccination is healthy. We don't want to be left behind because we're not taking the vaccine, but we want to get as much information as possible so that we are putting ourselves in better hands and not at great risk.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. Of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Joining me now on set, Nathan Yemane. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right, good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome to the Black Media Matter Studios.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good stuff. So we're talking about something here today. A lot of times we don't, well, unfortunately, we do talk about death a lot here on this show. We talk about gun violence and things happening out in the city. But something that we don't talk about here a lot is end of life care and hospice care and things like that. And also, usually, if it is talked about, it's never really looked at in a cultural kind of lens. And so, first of all, I'll let you introduce yourself more to our audience here, and then we could talk about your organization and what you guys are trying to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I grew up just south of here, graduated from Auburn High School, and, really wanted to pursue something in the social service field and the health field, primarily because of my father's influence. Ended up getting my master's in social work from the University of Oklahoma, got into medical social work, and really wanted to make a difference, especially when it comes to healthcare, since there are a lot of disparities, especially when it comes to like Black health and other underserved groups and populations. And so, the reason that I decided to get into hospice, especially in this part in Seattle, is primarily because there was a need for it. There are over 9 hospices in King County. None are Black governed or Black owned. And I felt like having representation, the governing body, and for the community to be able to see someone who looks like them representing them in healthcare was important, especially at end of life. And especially because of also the cultural component that you just mentioned. Understanding the culture, understanding the importance of cultural relevance, cultural competency. My work as a medical social worker, I've seen cultural incompetency. I know how that impacts Black families. I've been in Black, families' homes, and understanding how people at the top who are, not of the culture, just not being able to relate. And so,
yeah,
I saw the need.
I think that we can even be more blunt about it, in that we already know that there's an empathy gap.
Yeah.
In healthcare across America. And we already know that there's all these perceptions about Black people and their tolerance to pain and everything else. And we also know that, man, we got to advocate for our people, especially when they're in the hospital. And so, like, I spent a lot of time the last 2 years just being present in hospitals, because you get treated a bit differently being Black if people know that you got somebody in the hospital advocating for you, that
Absolutely.
you're not there, that you want to talk to the doctor, you want to talk to the medical professional. That gap is real during the living, you know what I'm saying, when you're fighting for your life for everyday healthcare. I can only imagine what that gap looks like when end of life care. When you talk about some of these examples that you see, what are the disparities or the differences that you see when it comes to Black people and how they're treated in hospices?
So there's just generally a lack of trust. I mean, when you think about the experiences that the Black population has had historically with medical systems, there is justified lack of trust. And so already they're going into the situation. I remember I had a family that specifically asked for a Black nurse because they just have had bad experiences in medical systems and healthcare systems. Well, when they asked for that, they were labeled as being racist for asking for that. And so that just kind of just paints the picture of how misunderstood a lot of Black families are when it comes to, and Black individuals are when it comes to healthcare systems. I'll tell you some other statistics in terms of disparities. Specifically, we're talking about the Black elderly population, right? The Black elderly population in America, and this is by the Kaiser Foundation. They came out with this information. Out of any other people group, visited the ER department of hospitals the most, had the most hospital admissions, and also have the most hospital readmissions. And a lot of these folks that are going through this are people that are dealing with terminal illness, that are at end of life, and that should be and would be getting hospice care. And so It's those factors that made me realize, okay, I got to do something. And if I'm going to do it, I got to do it my way. And I partnered up with David Turner, a mentor of mine who had done hospices in Michigan and Tennessee, and just wanted to do something that was Black governed so that people saw representation, so that people could have trust and know, okay, people on the other side look like me and they represent me and are able to empathize, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything in the life, you need people who one value your humanity and see
Absolutely.
you as a whole person, and two, of course, empathy is real important. You get lots of sympathy, but empathy. Um, so what's the landscape like now? You said that there's 9 hospices that are operating here in King County. Your hope is to become a number 10. Right. What is that process like to go? And maybe you can explain to everybody where you guys are at in this process.
Okay. Well, I'll just kind of keep it short. Right now, the state is looking at 4 applicants. We're one of those applicants. And the state is going to be giving 2 certificates. So only 2 of the 4 are going to be operating and established in the future. And we're letting the state know, hey, you got to have somebody like us that has grassroots existence. We work with the community. We have relationships with churches. We have the support of churches. We have the support of Black organizations, the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, the NAACP, their health committee, the chapter in Seattle, King County. I mean, I could go on. We've built relationships and we've let people know, grassroots wise, the reason and the need for something like what we have to provide. And we're wanting to let the state know, hey, we're going to be able to address disparities that exist that they're well aware of.
Wow. Yeah, I know my buddy, Ashley McGirt, she does the Washington Therapy Fund as well as a private practice. But before that, she was a social worker at a hospice. And she was telling us how even the way that sometimes things are communicated to Black people in the hospice and the words that they were using, you know what I'm saying? Well, man, do you want your pain to end? You know what I'm saying? They ask these kind of questions that most people be like, yeah, that alters the trajectory of the end of life care.
Right.
Maybe you can expand on that.
Yeah. The thing is that a lot of families, a lot of individuals are getting some of the same thing that they've always received in terms of healthcare, and that is, things that are done to further exasperate that lack of trust that I was talking about. And so, and that's why representation is important. When they see a doctor, and this has been proven by data, when a Black person sees a Black doctor on the other side, there's a greater level of trust. When they see a provider or healthcare system that is Black governed or Black owned, there is improved outcomes and just a better sense of trust there. And so, and one thing I would tell you is that the decision that the Certificate of Need program, they're the ones that approve hospices, and they're a part of the DOH. The decision that they're making is based on a legislation that already points out that applicants should be prioritized based on their work with special populations. And the way the special populations in that legislation is spelled out includes racial and ethnic minorities. And so the legislation is there supporting us. We just want to make sure the Department of Health also is believing in what we are intending on doing.
All right. So this is a decision that comes out of Olympia. And what you're saying is there's 2 licenses for hospices available. There's 4 applicants. You're the only applicant that's serving that would serve our community and people that look like us or kind of like us. And when are they supposed to be making a decision on this?
So just to add on to what you just said, we're the only applicant, and historically, there's never been an applicant that has come out and said we are here for the Black community. So this is unprecedented. We have an attorney that's looked into previous decisions that the Certificate of Need program has made, and none has been based on the premise that we are coming with, which is we are here for the Black community. And so we are first, and we are wanting to make sure the Department of Health prioritizes us in the way that the legislation says that they should do.
So what I hear you saying is it basically y'all the first black folk to go down there and apply for a hospice as well.
And this is why it's important, is because this is about Black-owned healthcare, not just in hospice, but in healthcare in general. We are trying to get into a space that we've never really been given the room to exist in, especially Black governed. I mean, you know how it is. In the 1940s, there were over 120 Black governed, Black-owned hospitals. Right now, Howard Medical Center, Howard University Medical Center is the only one. And so it's historically been shown that there's space for Black-owned healthcare has been limited and has tapered, I mean, drastically. And so we're wanting to make sure that we represent not just hospice, but Black-owned healthcare.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. That this is something that needs to happen. Well, even more than that, I will say that this presents an opportunity for the state of Washington under the guidance of our Governor Inslee, who last year released the equity bill, you know what I'm saying, and wanted to put money in places to be able to really repair rations of the past and be able to build a firm foundation for the future. But, you know, I'm always one who says a lot that, like, money comes and goes, but policies. And so sometimes, you know, the money be out there, but it's out of a smoke screen because money disappears or community fights over it, but no policy has changed. I think that this presents a perfect opportunity for the powers that be down in Olympia to actually use policy to match their words about equity and access, right? Because a lot, you know, people use money, they print more money, they get more money out, but a policy change. So this is actually an opportunity for a historic opportunity for the state of Washington, a historic opportunity here, and also for their actions to match their words, right?
Right. For their actions to match what's said in the legislation already. Priority should be made to applicants that are emphasizing and are focusing on special populations, i.e. Racial and ethnic minorities.
Yeah, Sean, who we need to talk to down in Olympia, man?
Well, so I'll tell you this, just to let the public know, two things. One is there is an article that the South Seattle Emerald wrote about us, and they did contact the state Department of Health and the Certificate of Need program, and you can read about it and the response that the state gave them. That link is available, right, for our viewers. So I'll say that, and then the next thing I want to say is there is an email address that you could write if you want to advocate for Black-owned healthcare, if you want to advocate for us, and you want to see representation in healthcare on the other side of healthcare when it comes to providers and those that are providing care in the community. Then I'd say write to the Department of Health and let them know, hey, we're aware that there's a hospice that is trying to come into King County to serve an underserved population, and they need to be approved if they meet the criteria. And we feel like we meet the criteria in terms of what the state is looking at.
Right. And so Shalman has put that email address there in the comments, and you need to refresh the audience the name of your organization.
It's YBG Healthcare. It's YBG Healthcare, and it is basically we're going to be DBA Heart and Soul Hospice, but it's YBG Healthcare that is applying with the state right now.
Right. So what I would say is this: you know, we got a lot of activists who follow Converge, and they stay active there in the comment. I'm sure somebody in there already got their email browser open. And man, let the state of Washington know. I mean, one thing is for sure is in dealing with government, if you don't make no noise, you can have no expectation for anything to happen. So if representation in healthcare and representation in that field and representation in end of life care is important to you, if it's important to your family members, I know we have people in our audience, our listening audience, who've had family members go through hospice, and you know, and it's real, it's intense,
and you sit there and, you know, I mean, you literally watch your loved one pass away. And when people have an absence of humanity as life is leaving the human body, when people can't see you as whole and treat you as whole and treat you as just human, you know, some of our elders have lived their whole life. Some of our elders have lived their whole life in this country, and from birth to death, been shown no respect, been shown no dignity. And man, if we can find a space where in their final days they can be shown some humanity and dignity, then that's what we need to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't really say any more than what you said. And the thing is that the ability to be able to show empathy and the ability to be able to culturally relate. That's something that in my experience with my father at end of life care that we lacked, was that cultural competence. And I don't want that to be a memory of how he passed, but that is the fact. And that's one of the reasons I think our existence is important, is because we're not going to mess it up at the end of life for families. We're going to relate to them, and we're going to meet them where they're at and their cultural, what they expect culturally, as opposed to violating it.
Yeah, and if anyone in the viewing audience, if you've never had a loved one transition through hospice, it's important that not only in the care given to the loved one, but the care that's given to the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's something. I'll say that. And you know, it's something when you see your loved ones pass away and they've reached a point really of no return. And now they're on God's time. And all we can do is provide comfort and care, you know, and understanding and respect and dignity. Man, I don't know. I mean, it just caught me here for a second, because I just think about so many of our elders who leave this earth, you know, who never called sir or ma'am their whole life.
Yeah.
Who's at colored water fountains.
Yeah.
And here at end of life, to be able to give them some dignity, man, y'all need to get active out there. That email address, y'all need to email, y'all need to talk to DOH. It's very rare on air that you'll ever hear me advocate for any. We get politicians on here, we get all kinds of people on here. I'm like, yeah, just go vote. I'm gonna tell people, go vote for this or go vote that. But on this, I'm gonna tell you, this is something that we need.
Yeah.
We need this in our community. We need this care. Y'all need to let your fingers do the talking and send an email. Y'all need to reach out to DOH. You need to let people know that, man, this needs to happen.
Absolutely. And you know what I want everybody to know also is that the people that we have leading this hospice project, you know, I mentioned, obviously you know me, but David Turner and Dr. Carla Ainsworth, our medical director, these are people that have been in hospice for a long time. You know, you're not dealing with amateurs. You're dealing with people that understand the disparities in hospice, that understand what Omari was just talking about, the experiences that Black individuals in this country have had in healthcare systems and how they've been wronged, and how with our project at end of life, we're going to try to make sure that we get it right because of everything that they've been through. And I'm not just talking about in terms of hospitals, even outside. I'll tell you this. I went to the University of Oklahoma for my master's in social work. The University of Oklahoma Medical Center was built on homes taken away from Black families. Over 600 homes were removed to build a medical center. So it's not even really what people have experienced in hospitals. It's what people have experienced in terms of their homes being taken away for a hospital to be built. How could you go to that hospital if that hospital was built on where your home existed? So we're talking about that kind of mistreatment and injustices that people have experienced in healthcare systems. and we're trying to get it right at end of life with our project. And so that's what we're about.
Yeah, man, for reals. So Salman has put the link. Our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald, they actually wrote an article here, and it was actually the South Seattle Emerald who connected us.
Yes, Marcus. Yes.
They really felt that this was a really important enough story that we wanted to amplify it across all of our platforms. Email address is in there as well. What's the deadline or decision date for this?
So we have a public hearing coming up May 5th, and then they're going to make a decision. They are estimating at the end of August of this year. So August 2022. And so we have, about 4 months before we find out.
All right. And is there a public hearing on this at all? Or how does that kind of stuff operate?
So the public hearing is really kind of, they send out an invitation, and we get to present our project along with the other applicants.
All right. So it isn't the general public, it's you presenting and your presentation being available to the public.
Right. And it's kind of who the certificate of need department kind of invites. And the way that whole thing was set up even is just not really accessible for the community. It's on a Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Microsoft Teams, weekday. It just kind of I wasn't really comfortable with that. But at the end of the day, I feel passionate about what we're doing, and it doesn't matter what time they set those type of things. I feel like we have the support, and doing things like what we're doing now will kind of propel us.
Well, yeah, and I'll say this is that the Department of Health in the state of Washington. Now, this is the Department of Health. They got a campaign. You see right here. That's the hereforwa.org. That's coming from the Department of Health, because the Department of Health recognize disparities within the Black community with COVID response, and so and people taking the vaccine. So the Department of Health has already shown that if something is important, it's important for a Black community here, and what they've shown here was around the vaccine. They mobilized the whole campaign. There's TV commercials, there's events. We did a special. There's advertising everywhere else. So clearly the Department of Health is able to look at specific populations here in the state of Washington and be able to take that into consideration and literally put money where their mouth is and be able to create policy to be able to reach specific audiences. That's what's happening right now with hereforuswa.org. That's out of the Department of Health. So, brother, I stand here optimistic that the same people there at the Department of Health in Olympia will realize that this as well is a specific need for our community and community of colors for death with dignity. Absolutely. In hospices in our community. So you know what I'm saying? We want to empower the Department of Health to continue upon this road they're on. They're off to a great start with what they're doing around hereforuswa.org, and they've shown that they're able to look at data and everything else and make responsive decisions. And man, let's hope that they look at this situation like that as well.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's time. And it's one of those things where we need more Black-owned healthcare. If we want to change health outcomes, not just the end of life in terms of end of life care, obviously that's more palliative care and not aggressive care, but in general, for people to have better access to healthcare, you just need more Black-owned healthcare. I believe that is the solution.
Man, that's just dope. We just need more Black-owned. I like that too. My mama used to always say, "We ain't begging, we buying." And we need to be out of a system where we begging all the time, and we need to go where we're treated, with this level of respect and this level of dignity, and it's important, and that work is important. You could go ahead and let people know, man, if they want to support, or if they want to reach out to you, if they want more information, man, how can people catch up with you?
That's a good question. One of the things that we really can't have or don't have, because we're not an established hospice agency, we can't really publicize our information like we're established. So we don't have a website or anything, just because, again, we've not been approved yet. But one thing I would tell in terms of people reaching out, doing something, is send an email to the Certificate of Need program at Department of Health. That I think that email, like I said earlier, is available, and let them know that is the best way to support what we're doing, and to let the health department know that the community's voice counts. The community has to have input in the decision that the Department of Health is making about King County. So if you live in King County, let your voice be heard. So I appreciate you asking for that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Man, people who watch Converge, we love our elders over here. It's and I know hospice is across, you know what I'm saying? People were terminal, but man, we love our elders over here. And it'd be two things that really get us to move. And that's it, our young people and our elders. We cherish and value our elders. And there's an old African proverb that says every time an elder passes away, it's like a library burns to the ground. And man, anything that we can do that in the last days, our elders, that they're here, that we can provide the best care and comfort and support and respect, man, I'm with it.
Absolutely. And I really want to, let people know and challenge people to really look into the data and numbers, and look at how the Black elder population is being impacted, whether it's COVID, whether it's healthcare, whether it's other different areas. Get interested, because there are a lot of disparities. They're an at-risk group in several areas, not just in health. I'm talking about the Black elder population. And like you said, we should care enough. And part of caring means studying, looking at the data, looking at what statistics say, and where can you help? What can you do to make a difference within that population?
Hey, man, it was a strength of Big Mama and them that got us here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we owe that generation, like you said, to get involved. And really, when you look at it, and you could, you could imagine, we always say when America sneezes, Black people catch a cold. And, the impacts, the disparities are real. And, one of the things here, because of our smaller population, we talked about this with COVID, a lot of times we live isolated here in Seattle and in King County, because we don't see that actual impact like you see down there in Oklahoma or South Carolina or North Carolina or Mississippi or Alabama, and you see the state of things, and people here wouldn't believe it. Listen, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I want to thank you for informing our audience, and also for giving them a call to action. Our audience loves a challenge. We've now challenged them to make their voice heard down there in Olympia.
I appreciate you for having me, and I appreciate you for caring and for just showing the emotion and the sincerity. And we're in this together, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. And about our elders, man, I'm always gonna care. Converge is always going to care. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going directly into another episode of Traveling While Black in Seattle. These guys, this time they're in Woodinville. You see, the weather's changing, so it's time to go hit the wineries. The Loves, they got on the road and went up to Woodinville. So we'll dive into that. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
As a non-binary Black femme, a lot of my identity is rooted in body. Once the vaccine was introduced, it was really difficult to think in terms of safety as well as autonomy. As a Black American, the relationship with government is very complicated. It's hard to trust. A lot of these conspiracies are really impacting people making a decision, especially with Black folks, to be clear about what we're doing. I think it's just a well-rounded conversation to see what's best for us.
Damn, Echo, you're savage.
Big Mac, baby, eating that ruthless. Short temper, so you know I'm kinda ruthless. Bad pass, roll one, time to elevate. Yeah, part-time smoker when I medicate. Big step, a couple hoes up in the Dino. Fly 'em out to Vegas, couple just in the casino. Mean up, I had to earn it, others buy it, money burning. I work harder, I deserve it. You a groupie, you a bird. I'm a
Welcome to Traveling While Black in Seattle.
Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony, this is my wife Marley, and welcome to another episode of Traveling While Black in Seattle.
Yes, welcome back everyone. And as a brief reminder, our show is based on our experiences in and around Seattle. And we base those experiences off of how good of a drive it was, how much fun we had, and most importantly, how comfortable do we feel as Black people visiting for the first time.
So recently, we put out a question on our social media platforms asking you guys, what type of place would you like to see us visit next? And out of all of the choices, the winner was wineries. You drunks.
Yes, and so we found a winery very close to Seattle in Woodinville, Washington, and the winery is called Navalee Hill Chinook Winery, and I love wine, so I was happy about this episode. So again, everyone, take a look and let us know what you think. Navalee Hill Chinook Winery is located in Woodinville, Washington, only 12 miles away from downtown Seattle. The winery, during normal circumstances, offers events, tastings, delicious food, and of course, wine.
Due to the COVID restrictions, they have modified the services a bit, but you can still get the food and the wine.
Drive grade. Woodinville we thought would be a great choice for a winery visit, being it's not that far from Seattle. Again, only 12 miles.
12 miles equated to a 25-minute drive with tolls, a 30-minute drive without. As you probably already guessed, our drive was about 30 minutes. Ha!
Yes, the ride wasn't bad even with the extra 5 minutes. It was mostly city, traffic was light, or at least moving, and it felt like we made it back in no time.
Although the views weren't all that, quick drive, light traffic, and really nice weather are all ingredients for a good drive. For drive grade, we give a 4 out of 5. Level of fun. So here's the thing, it's a winery. Even more so, it's a winery during Corona. So I wasn't expecting this place to rank very high on the level of fun meter.
I, on the other hand, was hopeful. Woodinville is in phase 3 of reopening. They require you to make appointments for groups up to 5 people. Each reservation is up to 90 minutes, in which guests are invited to purchase wines by the glass or bottle, as well as an expanded menu, all the while enjoying the beautiful scenery of the winery.
So we ate and drank some wine. Well, some of us more than others. Hee hee.
Yeah, some of us did pay for it though.
Dang. But to tell the truth, sitting in the warm weather underneath the umbrella, enjoying some wine, food, and conversation with the wife was pretty enjoyable. And it was made all the better by the beauty of the winery.
Yes, Navalee Hill Chinook Winery provided us with good food, good wine, and a generally good time.
Yeah, I admit that I did have some fun. So for level of fun, we give a 4 out of 5.
Comfortability for Black people. So full disclosure, my cousin did recommend Navalee Hill Chinook Winery, and part of the reason we ended up picking it was because it was close. Part of the reason.
We also picked it because the general manager was a brother. It's our show. We can be selective.
Yep, but even if that wasn't the case, we saw quite a few black people and other people of color.
So, I'd estimate on my injured memory that there were about 16 people in and out during our visit. I recall seeing about 3 other black people. Including us, that makes a total of 5 black people. That means that 31% of the folks there were black. And that's an unbelievable stat in Seattle.
Yep, and the service was good, the staff was very welcoming, starting from when they greet you at the parking entrance. So, for comfortability for black people, we give it a 5 out of 5.
We hope you found this video to be helpful and entertaining. Be sure to check out all of our other previous episodes.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And again, thanks for letting us know that you guys wanted to check out wineries, and let us know if there's anywhere else you would want us to check out as well.
Until next time, beautiful people, stay up, stay true, and do you.
Yeah, man. Love the Marleys. Yeah, I love the loves, Anthony and Marley Love. Man, this turned out to be a pretty good show. We're flying solo today, and of course, today's Thursday. We'll touch on a few things here in a second, but I do have a few things to go over. Is tonight looks like Clapback Culture 7:00 tonight with Mike Davis and Julia Jesse. So you want to check that out. And then at 9:00 tonight, it's The Factors. We got The Factors TV with Ronald and Ronell Moore. So we'll be checking that out as well. I encourage you guys to check in and support. And yeah, so today's Thursday, and I'm usually all excited because, clearly I'm off tomorrow. It's Feel Good Friday with Trey Holiday. But wanted to let you guys know that next week we're taking a break. And so there's not going to be a morning update show. We might put some best of on next week. Yeah, I know. But a much deserved break, and it actually be the first real break for me, meaning that even when you don't see me on air, because when the show's on air or the different shows, I'm still putting shows together. I'm lining up interviews and the emails and this and that. So this will be the first time. Man, that's crazy. The first time since March of 2020 that it's an actual real 100% break. I remember we were off air before. We were repairing the studio. It was always something. So this would be the first time. I said, I put my little autoresponder. It should go on at 12:01. I'm telling people, man, don't talk to me until May 2nd. I'm not answering any emails, phone calls. So I'm not acting funny if you don't hear from me. But this will be the first. We just been through a lot. In the last 2 years, March 19th marked 2 years of the morning update show. And look at everything in the last 2 years. I'm getting ready to go over to Seattle University now and talk to into a class over there. It's Tyra from Como 4. She has a class over there that she's teaching at Seattle University. And last night I was sitting with Alia D'Alessandro. We're editing up video for the last 2 years. And man, it's a lot of tragedy. From protests to all these murders that we covered and the impact and the toll on us. And it's been a long 2 years. And so for the first time in 24, I guess it's 25 months, I'm not touching or doing anything. No email, no phone call. We'll come back the first week of May better than ever. It's the show has been it's been such
it's a great thing, and I appreciate all y'all. It's also been such a burden mentally, to continue to cover these things that just impact us directly and take such a mental strain. And yeah, so what you gonna do on your week off, Salman? Good stuff. So we'll finally all go get a chance to rest. So all the other shows will still be on though. Clap like next week, Clap Back and Factor and Seattle News, Views and Brews. It's just a morning show, and we'll still have our segment, Throwback Thursday. But it'll go onto the web. But I just want to tell all y'all, thank you. Y'all been with me. Some of y'all do it all. Y'all never left. And I appreciate you. So I'm going to take a break. A real break this time. Like I said, for the first time. And I look forward to seeing all you guys the first week in May when the morning update show comes back. Feel Good Friday will be on tomorrow with Trey Holiday. I'm so thankful for all of y'all. Thankful. I'm just blessed. And on that note, let me dry it up over here. On that note, I want to remind you to go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. And until Monday, May 2nd, peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. A lazy shoes and love is a love that turn. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got used to hiding the holes. This old world got new tricks and I'm in the thick of it. This I swear I'm already sick of it. At least I found the antidote. Oh. I know no one is a shadow. I know no one is a shadow.